lights are on. It's a 12-lap race. Start is important. Andy Mohamed Fadley's got off to a decent start, but he's flanked either side of him. Oh, Fadley is under pressure, and it's the Astra Hondas in 1, 2, 3. That is a statement start from Reza Danica, Adnan Putra, and Herjan Atna Ferdaus.
That's the first part of the Astra Honda plan completed successfully. Let's see how the rest of it goes. They're still there. Andy Mohamed Fadley snapping at their heels.
Wow, that really is a very, very different scenario to what we had yesterday. Astra Honda, all three were out virtually by this time yesterday, so the pressure's now on the Kawasaki's of Andy Mohamed Fadley and Aike Ayoshi. Here is Piawat. Piawat is currently down in 7th place at the moment, so he's chasing the Astra Hondas and the Kawasaki's in front of him. There you've just got Piawat just being put under real pressure there by the likes of Ray Ratakore. Rafi Topan is trying to get into that top group as well. So Andy Mohamed Fadley makes his first move. He doesn't want to let the others get too far away. There's pressure on him from Herjan Atna Ferdaus. But the Astra Honda Kawasaki battle, those front five were expected to be involved this weekend. Belatedly, they've got involved.
Yeah, and Reza picked up a few more points than Andy did yesterday as they wobbled around and did the best they could in the wet. But just starting to get away here is Herjan, followed by championship contender without a doubt, Reza Danica RNs.
That's important, I think, for Andy Mohamed Fadley as they go up the hill to get into P3. He was looking confident in the pit walk earlier on. Bike 21 is leading the way. 21 is Adnan Putra. And he's got himself a healthy lead over Reza Danica. Andy Mohamed Fadley loses P3 to Herjan, and Aiki is there as well. Ray Ratakore, Antti Setiawan, and Piawat down in P8. How about yesterday's star name, Tanaka? Bike number 26 is down in P13 at the moment. I don't think we're going to get the romantic tears once again on this occasion, but you never know. This is racing.
Unlikely, but we will get some interesting moves for the championship and some gripping racing, no doubt.
Oh, we've got our first casualty. That looks like one of the wild cards.
Yeah, the leathers don't match the bikes, so it's probably a wild card. We were talking about Adnan Putra and that we'd like to see him fulfill his potential a little bit more. Well, this is a good start for him.
Certainly is. He's not really picked up the points. He had 2 DNFs, a P4 and a P5 in Sepang. Yesterday wasn't able to pick up any points because he crashed out, or didn't crash out, he just slid out on the wet. Everybody slid out. How the conditions have changed over the last 24 hours and how much happier these riders look in the dry of Sugo. Andy Mohamed Fadley has got a chunk of work to do though.
Yes, he has. This is all about, at the moment anyway, Astra Honda and Moto Sniper Kawasaki, because it is Aiki Iyoshi there in 5th place.
It's a 16-point differential between Andy Mohamed Fadley ahead of Reza Danica RNs in the overall championship. The Kawasaki has the advantage in the championship here. It's P2 for Reza Danica, P3 for Andy Mohamed Fadley. Aiki Iyoshi is trying to get up into P4 and successfully does so ahead of Herjan Atna. And so it's Astra Honda, Kawasaki. And they're pulling away, but the Astra Hondas are working well together. They're not racing Adnan and Reza Danica. It almost seems as though Reza Danica is being dragged along by Adnan Putra.
Just behind them we've got Angi Setiawan, who didn't start yesterday's race. He fell off on the sighting lap. So he's back up and in contention. I think that might be Ray Ratakore behind, we'll have to see.
Ray Ratakore, P7, Piawat in P8, Rafi Topan in the black and gold, he's in P9, in the middle of that chasing group. The lead for the front two is about a second ahead of Andy Mohamed Fadley, so it's certainly not beyond Andy Mohamed Fadley, particularly with Ayoshi for company, but they race. Ooh, that's interesting, because just coming in ahead of Ayoshi, Antti Setiawan has made a move into P5. Right, 96. He's walking off and still trying to work out. I think that is Nomura. I'll need confirmation. Andy Mohamed Fadley, the championship leader with 3 wins in a row before Sugo. The managed to wobble his way to 4 points yesterday. Just stay on the bike was the modus operandi for Andy Mohamed Fadli yesterday. Here he's chasing up the hill once again. But it's Adnan Putra who is still leading the way as we come through lap 3. We are 1/4 exactly through the way through this race number 2.
We're looking at the back of side of Ray Ratakuri's bike, I think.
Yeah, that was Pierre Watt showing exactly how he can motor up the hill, exactly how he can get a drag up the hill. Yoshi doing well to hold off Andy Setiawan. He won't exactly be protecting by Andy Mohamed Fadli. In fact, I'm wondering if there's team orders of any description going on amongst Kawasaki, but it doesn't harm Andy Mohamed Fadli that Yoshi is behind him to stop any movements coming through from behind.
Yeah, for now it's okay. We've got a long time to go in this race.
Adananta, fastest lap of the race, currently from Andy Setiawan, a 1:41.806. The front two are lapping around about the mid-1:42s, as is Ayoshi and Andy Mohamed Fadli. Ayoshi indeed has got ahead of Andy Mohamed Fadli, who must have made a little mistake there. So the Japanese has just taken a march on his teammate.
So now we've got 2 Astras, 2 Kawasaki's at the front with Virgin and Andy Setiawan just behind them.
And those 6 are pulling away from the rest. In fact, the front 5 are pulling away from the rest. It's quite a gap. Erjan 1.5 seconds down, and then he's got a 1.3 second lead over Ray Ratakuri and Pierre Watt and Aldi Satya, the young Indonesian who's racing with a broken hand at the moment, which can't be much fun. Coming up the hill once again, Ayoshi has got a little bit closer. Andy Setiawan is right on the back wheel of Andy Mohamed Fadli in the green liveries, but Adnan Putra, as he comes through at the end of lap 4, he's led virtually from the start. Ayoshi has certainly made a move, and Ayoshi goes into P2.
Yeah, Pierre Watt making a move, we can see from the onboard camera, but not quite making it stick. That is close.
Pierre Watt's just been overtaken indeed by Aldi Satya. How can you be that confident with a broken wrist? It really is.
Well, he's 16, Des, and therefore invincible.
Absolutely superb. So Ayoshi has broken that Astra Honda train up at the front. Still Adananta Putra leads the way. Adananta, his results so far, 2 DNFs in Buriram, really have damaged his season. He's way down the rankings, and those both DNFs could possibly have been useful points. Reza Danica under pressure from Andy Setiawan. Reza Danica has actually lost P3 and is down in P4, and Andy Mohamed Fadli is right on the back wheel of Reza Danica. So something has happened to Reza Danica in this last lap, a little bit of concentration, a mistake or something, or maybe he's just trying to hold his powder dry.
Yeah, this hasn't gone quite according to form. Reza Danica and Andy Fadli are up there, but they're not getting away as they have been.
Reza Danica having to stand up there. He got his angle of attack just a little bit wrong, and that might enable Andy Mohamed Fadli to get a drive out of the chicane, but no, not able to stick onto the back of Reza Danica. So 1 is Adananta Putra, 2 is Ayoshi. Will he try to use the slipstream to get out of the... yes, Ayoshi, I think, has got himself into P1. Indeed he has, and then he lost it to Adananta Putra. Andy Setiawan, this is impressive from Setiawan. As you say, he didn't even make the start line yesterday. He went out on the, not even the formation lap, on the out lap. So he's got a little bit of work to do, Andy Setiawan.
Yeah, he's been one of these frustrating riders in the class that shows potential but hasn't come through. We've said that about Adananta too. He did well to hold on to the lead, but Aiki Yoshi seems to be marking his territory here, and this is his territory.
He's got the fastest lap so far, 1:41.774. It is speeding up in the heat. So Ayoshi in the Kawasaki, number 37. He leads Adananta Putra. Reza Danica, P2 in the overall championship standings, just ahead of the championship leader, Andy Mohamed Fadli. Fadli goes on the inside of Reza Danica. Reza closes that gate, though. You shall not pass. Not there anyway, but Andy Mohamed Fadli asking the question on bike 108.
And looking further back, Pierre Watt has dropped off.
Just about everybody's dropped off. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Herjan Adnar is grimly holding on. Fadley tries to go around the outside. As we have a...
Things go.
Right, Andy Fadley has got into P3. That was a brave, brave move. He went round the outside and attacked the chicane, but he's a little bit vulnerable on the drive because he had a narrow exit from the chicane. Nonetheless, he's been able to hold on. These AP250s, there's a good amount of power in there, but Adnan Putra, he's been able to retake the lead from Ayoshi. Ashi moves again out to the slipstream, but Adnan Putra, who's led for the majority of this race, was overtaken on the last lap by Ayoshi, but he's reclaimed the lead once again, and Reza Danika's reclaimed P3 from Andy Mohamed Fadley. Constant changes of lead and constant change of P3, Barry Russell. A constant change of P2 as well.
I know, I can't blink. This is really, really great racing, and you can see the result of the... you can thank the people who put the technical regs together actually for this, because it makes the racing so close. And they do run the A-Racer control ECUs here, and you can see the effect. But this is a Kawasaki-Honda battle, and there is Eiki Iyoshi. He really wants this home victory, doesn't he?
Coming down the hill, he was able to get into P1. Reza Danica tries to squeeze him out. You can see Herjan has rejoined that group as well. He fell off at the back. Herjan Adnar, bike number 46, the third of the Astra Hondas. He's very much in that group. Angie Setiawan ruining the colour scheme in the blue. But this really is any one of these 6. You'd imagine that Andy Mohamed Fadley is kind of holding something just in reserve as Ayoshi loses P1 to Reza Danica Arans, who takes the lead for the first time. Again, what kind of a drive do you get out of the chicane? Takes a narrow angle, tries to go up the hill. This is very good. We're at the beyond midpoint of the race, and it's Reza Danica Arans will just lose the lead once again to Ayoshi. But Reza Danica showing there by Russell, he wants to be involved.
Yeah, he sprang through in the chicane. It was a really clever move. I thought he might lose his drive coming out, but he didn't. He's sitting pretty 3 places ahead of his championship rival.
He certainly is. In fact, Andy Mohamed Fadley has dropped down to P5 because Angie Setiawan got ahead of him, but now, of course, on that corner, he's up back to P4. Really is tantalising. I'd love to see the diagram of the positional changes of this. It would be like a heartbeat rate. So it's Ayoshi who leads the way from Reza Danica, Adananta, Andy Mohamed Fadley, Andy Setiawan, Herjan Adnar. They're the top 6. The victor is going to come from this group. Aldi Satya is doing his best to stay within touching distance, but he is 2 seconds adrift. And then you've got the wild card. Yesterday's winner is not going to have a romantic time once again. Bike 26, Tanaka, he is down in P20. In fact, I think he's out of the race.
Yeah, and yeah, we have to give a shout to Aldi Satya Mahendra because he is riding with a fractured left hand, and he's the 2nd best of the Yamahas in this race.
Certainly is. The first best is Angie Setiawan, who's in P5 at the moment. It's Ayoshi who'll lead coming up the hill as they come up to the end of lap number 8. We're at the 2/3 mark of what's been a really, really good competitive AP250 race. That's exactly what we want. We knew the Kawasaki and Astra Honda would be pretty even going into this season. That's exactly how they have been. Ayoshi P3 in the overall championship standings. I suppose if Ayoshi has championship pretensions, Barry, he is going to have to win this race here.
Yeah, this will put him in contention. He does need this. He should do this. He's got the capability. He is at home, so he's got that extra 10th or whatever the old wives' tale says it is, as an advantage, as a home advantage. But Reza Danica and Adananta are going really well behind.
Adananta's got himself back into P2.
Yeah, don't look like they're following team orders at this stage, do they?
Tell you what, Aldi Setchia's getting a little bit closer. It was a 2-second differential. He's got within a second now of this little group, so there's every possibility that the second of the Yamahas will join in on the back, maybe of not this front five, but he's certainly looking at the potential of a top 6 place. Well focused on the front five, little nervous look over the shoulder by Reza Danica Arons, bike 123.
Yeah, Aldi's got his eyes on Hergen, hasn't he?
Certainly has. Hergen has just backed off just a little bit. A 1:42.3 won't have helped his cause. Aldi Satya is lapping at exactly the same time. Best lap is still belonging to Aiki Ayoshi. Lap times all around about the mid 142s for the front five. It's all pretty easy. They're just making sure that maybe with 2 laps to go, they're all in with an opportunity to take the victory. At the moment, Ayoshi leads, bike 37, ahead of Adananta Putra. Reza Danica 123 in P3, ahead of Angie Setiawan, bike 96, and Andy Mohamed Fadli, championship leader, down in P5. He'll want to improve on that. He'll want to certainly make sure he's ahead of Reza Danica Arons by the end of the race.
And Aldi briefly got in front of Hergen then as they went down the hill towards turn 1.
And has stayed there.
Yeah, he took it back, and I think, yeah, let's see what happens as they come around again. This is a really interesting battle. It will be difficult because it's going to cause him more pain to change direction, Aldi, than it will Hergen.
Well, there was Aldi Satya, the blue Yamaha, has got himself ahead of Hergen, but up at the front, hunkered down, coming down the hill, down one of many hills, completely undulating. Ayoshi goes wide and takes a nice narrow angle. There's no way through there for Andy Mohamed Fadli. Fadli's running out of time here, you know, Barry Russell. There's only 2 laps left, and he's never really looked like he's been challenging from the lead. It's never really looked like he's had an opportunity to make those overtaking maneuvers.
No, he was imperious in free practice and qualifying.
Oh, in saying that, he's just got ahead. Be still, high-tongue. I tell you what, these guys, they know how to make a fool of you. There is Andy Mohamed Fadli up into P4. He's got 2 Astra Hondas ahead of him, but Ayoshi might fancy the victory from here because he's been constantly in the top 2 over the last 6 laps as they come through over the line. The lead for Ayoshi over Adananta Putra is 0.35 of a second. Fadli, there's not a lot of power there.
Yeah, he's trying to pull the pin, but he hasn't got the pace that he has been showing, and Angie Setiawan at the moment is all over him.
16 points the differential between Andy Mohamed Fadli and Reza Danica in the overall championship standings, and it looks like that could be reduced just a little bit unless Andy Mohamed Fadli is able to do anything pretty dramatic in the last lap and a half. But it's Ayoshi, his Kawasaki teammate, who leads the way on the Kawasaki Ninja for the Motel Sniper Mantec Racing team. Ayoshi leads from Astra Honda's Adananta Putra and Reza Danica Arons.
And he hasn't got a lot of time, but Aldi Satya Mahendra is catching this group.
Running out of time, Reza Danica looks down the inside. Fadli has his eye on Reza Danica. 3 and 4 in the race, or 2 and 1 in the overall championship standings.
Yeah, and tick-tock, Andy Fadli needs to get closer, and as we speak,
he gets closer.
He is, of course, the 2019 and therefore the defending champion of this
He
class,
went
and
really
he's gone
wide.
off. Whoa, he went offline.
Well, went offline, has managed to recover, but will he be able to recover from that mistake? If you're going to go offline, that's probably the place to go, because you can drive into the chicane and escape with it, but you've got Kawasaki, Astra Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha.
Yeah, if he did that on the last lap, he would get docked a place or 2. But he got away with it that time. He didn't lose anything.
Adananta Putra has a look on the inside of Ayoshi. We are on the final lap. They come down the hill. Doesn't look like a steep hill, but it is. And then you've got to camber around and a sharp left-hander here before you clamber back up the hill as well, accelerating away. Got to get your judgment right, and all 4 have done exactly that. Andy Mohamed Fadli running out of time, running out of track here. It's Ayoshi who leads from Putra, from Reza Danica, from Fadli, followed by the 2 Yamahas.
For whatever reason, Reza hasn't quite got the pace that he did have. He needs to get ahead of Reza Danica to protect his championship lead or extend it. So that indicates that there is something not quite perfect.
Atalanta Putra goes into the lead ahead of ARRC. Neither ARRC or Putra have had a race win so far this season. Reza Danica right on the back wheel. Andy Mohamed Fadli aggressive on the back of Reza Danica. Now we've got a race into the final half lap. They come down in towards the back straight for the first time. ARRC trails to Atalanta Putra. And then it's right into the chicane. Who has the right line?
And down goes
Andy Mohamed Fadli, down goes Reza Danica, and down goes Angie Setiawan. That is a chaos, and they're furious with each other. Andy Mohamed Fadli is looking at Reza Danica. The victory will go to Ayiki ARRC. ARRC will take it from Atalanta in P2, and Aldi Setia will come through in P3. But wow-wee, the final chicane saw all kinds of chaos. Andy Mohamed Fadli gets up, he'll rescue some points out of this, but he was furious that there was something else on the track there. Who was that we went behind?
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's ARRC. ARRC fell off. Atalanta Putra has taken the victory. Aldi Setia is second. ARRC, that's 37. He has crashed on the final hill. Wow, that is sensational.
That looks like somebody hit him from behind as the rear tyre has been ripped off.
Wow. Atalanta Putra takes the victory. Aldi Setia in P2. And Team Kawasaki cannot believe it. A catastrophe for them. Well, the chicane was bad enough, but then the victory taken away from ARRC. Astra Honda take the victory, but even that is mixed emotions in there. Atalanta's got the victory, but Reza Danica doesn't get anything.
Yeah, ARRC is absolutely distraught. He had a home victory within his grasp, easily within his grasp. He had his fingertips on it, but we don't know what happened. There isn't any footage of that, but it does look like somebody hit him from behind, which is virtually the only way that you can crash in a straight line. There is some celebration. That's good news for Atalanta. It's been coming for a while. It's good to see it coming now. Aldi Satya Mahendra, what a hero. Riding with a broken hand, keeping it there, closing in on the front group, and picking up second place.
Wow.
When the mayhem ensued in front of him on that final chicane.
It really was mayhem, and you saw the reaction of Andy Mohamed Fadli. There is Andy Mohamed Fadli. The race winner, Atalanta Putra, gets a thumbs up from Andy Mohamed Fadli. Fadli will pick up a P10 because he got back up on his bike and is able to actually, bizarrely, extend his lead over Reza Danica and ARRC. Wow, unbelievable. Here is the result. Atalanta Putra takes it 3 seconds ahead of Aldi Satya Mahendra. What a result for him. Herjan Atna P3. Nakamura, the wild card, in P4 ahead of Ray Ratakoulis.